started when drovers were mustering cattle around the country, and they wanted to see who could cut a beast out of the mob while they're on the long yard paddock taking cattle from one place to the next. And 100 years later, we have now what we call the sport of camp drafting. It's highly exciting. It takes absolute skill of both horse and rider, and the absolute man who knows all the intricate details of this. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome down here to centre stage for the first time in 2019, Mr. Jim Callaghan. Jimmy, welcome to the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
Well, good afternoon, Tim, and it's an absolute pleasure to be back here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
Jim, I've been asking many people this. How many years for Sydney is it for you?
It's quite a few years now, Tim, and it's marvellous how time goes by, and time waits for nobody, but it's quite a few years now.
Well, you must have started as a young boy then.
I certainly did.
Jimmy, tell us, as I started to allude there, this is a sport, Australia's own sport. It started with our drovers. They were cutting beasts out, they were running them around. What are we going to see for someone who has never seen camp drafting before? How does this work? What's going to happen?
Well, Tim, first of all, for the competitors to get to the Royal Easter Show, they've got to have the points on the board, performances, etc. And so you're going to be looking at some of the very top competitors, the very top horses to be invited here to the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
And these competitors, they've been invited to compete. They're warming up at the moment. We can see two key aspects to the course here this evening. We can see our pen, or what we like to call the camp, and then we can see some trees out here in the arena. What are they going to attempt to do?
Okay, Tim, well, we'll go back to where you first kicked off, what we call the camp, where the cattle are held in the yard. And there's a possible score there. The competitors will go in there hoping to find the best beast for the round one of the World Championship Camp Draft. They'll select a beast and they'll bring that beast up to the face of the camp where our two judges, and we welcome our two judges, Mr. Keith Hannigan from Branga Plains up near Walker, and Skip McCarthy from Kempsey on the north coast of New South Wales. And there's a possible score in the cattle camp out of a score of 26 points. So they do 3 or 4 or 5 real good turns up the front to show the judges that they have the ability to keep that beast from his friends. And then they'll call for the gate, and it's a left-hand course tonight in round number 1. So the very first peg will be taken on the left. They get 2 points for that peg. Then they come around and they'll do the crossover. They'll start to form the figure 8. And the second peg will be taken on the right. They get 1 point for that peg, so that's a total of 3 for course. And then the 2 pegs that are close together over in front of the members stand, that's what we refer to as the gate. And if they put the beast through between the 2 pegs close together, that's a full round course. So that is 4 out of 4 for the course. So a 26 and a possible score of 70 for horse work and 4 for the course out of a possible score of 100 points, Tim.
It is so exciting, Jim. If we get a horse and rider with their beast through the gate, what do we need people to do?
Well, we need them to start rubbing those hands as they start to come around the second peg, and they can do it, but if they can put them our 4 out of 4, a full round course, we need them to certainly warm those hands up and give them a nice big warm welcome here to the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
Jimmy, of course, we would not have camp drafting without cattle. Tell me, my friend, these cattle come from some of the best country in Australia, do they not?
You're spot on again, Tim. Yes, and many, many thanks for that great relationship that the RAS have with Elliston Pastoral Company. Many thanks to the Packer family, to the management up there, Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell, and the team, and this gentleman out here that does his show through the day and then of an evening, Murray Wilkinson, with his magnificent dogs. He just absolutely a magnificent stockman. So to Elliston Pastoral Company, the Packer family, Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell and the whole team, and Murray Wilkinson, very, very lucky to have the cattle because, Tim, as you know, the drought been going on up in our area, all in New South Wales and Queensland and Victoria, but Elliston's been in drought in one area for the past 2.5 years. And to have these cattle in the condition, that says a lot for management.
And Jimmy, we wouldn't have the competition without sponsorship as well. Big thank you to Tyrrell's Wine. Do you know we're riding here this week for $25,000 in total prize money?
Well, Tim, it comes down to sponsors, and no matter what sport or things you do for pastimes, you got to have those great sponsors. And once again, it's a very big warm welcome on behalf of Tyrrell's. So it's great to see them on board again. And these competitors, they are very good, close friends. And even though they're very hard competitors, at the completion of whoever wins or whatever, they'll go somewhere for dinner tonight, whatever, and they'll be celebrating. But who will it be for round one of the World Championship Campdraft? We will be taking the top off the bottle of Tyrrell's tonight, Tim.
Well, we welcome the first of those from Tamworth in New South Wales. White Young, he's competing on Cedar Vale Twist, and he moves into the camp. He's an ABCRA National Finals Open Rider Qualifier. He was first in the Maules Creek Open Draft in 2018, equal second at Canning. Grew up in the mid-north coast of New South Wales in the cattle country at Gloucester. In his early years riding and showing the family's Cedar Vale stock horses. Tonight he's competing on Cedar Vale Twist, the first of our competitors in the Tyrrell's Wines World Championship Camp Draft here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show will be White Young from Tamworth in New South Wales. Jimmy, he's going to be our first competitor.
Well, yes, and he's just having a good look over these cattle and said, well, I think this is the one I need. So the horse trainer from Tamworth, he makes his selection. He comes up the face of the camp and he's going for the big point straight out for first round of the World Championship Camp Draft. And a magnificent, lovely Hereford heifer. And she steps out into the stadium here now. And around the first peg, the lovely Hereford heifer. And she's cooperating beautifully. So they get 2 points for the first peg. They do the changeover. Oh, look here, boys and girls, mums and dads. They come around the second peg. Things are looking really good. Now get ready. He got 3 out of 4 for the course. No boy, okay, boys and girls, mums and dads. Can he? Now get ready, boys and girls, start tapping mum and dad and say, yes he can, yes he can. Oh, look at this, round one of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft, White Young.
Oh, Jimmy, that is what we call camp drafting. Hey, what a way to start 2019.
Well, we've got a rodeo on down here too at the moment here too, Temp, so one horse is getting pretty excited after the first run in the World Championship Camp Draft, but
I think Dave Kelly's going to say, can you hop on that one, Jimmy? Well, we'll wait for the score. While we wait for the score, we welcome Cody Law into the arena on Yarrawa Guns N' Roses. Cody has a wealth of experience with all aspects of camp drafting. He's an accomplished competitor, renowned judge, and has been on the board of both the ABCRA and the ACA, and is the current president of the NCCA. And to round it off, Cody's family have been breeding stock horses since 1953.
So a score now for White Young with Cedar Vale Twist was 22.5 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 88 points. 88 points for Cedar Vale Twist and White Young. So Cody Law from Glenanners, the grazier, makes his selection. So just can't get the other one to drift away. Does so now, calls for the gate. Outside now, and another magnificent Hereford heifer, and this is Cody Law with Yarrawa Guns N' Roses. So let's cheer them on as they start to come around the first peg, and things are looking pretty good for Guns N' Roses. Around the first peg on the Chestnut Baldy, they do the changeover. He's got 2 out of 4 for the course. Around the second peg, this is looking pretty good here. And he tries to tidy it up a little bit now, tighten it up. He's got 3 out of 4 for the course. Oh, boys and girls, mums and dads, get excited. We may see 2 out of 2. Can he do it? Guns N' Roses, Guns N' Roses, they go off tonight on round number 1. Another Champagne Camp Drafting, 2 out of 2, Tim.
2 from 2. He needs a score greater than 88 to take the lead from White Young and Cedar Vale Twist. While we wait for the score, what a way to start. This has been sensational. And Dave Kelly's horse looks like he's under control now. Into the camp, we welcome Chinook. and Chinook with Uruna Cooper's Acre. He had a placing 4th at the Warwick Gold Cup in the Stallions Campdraft after running the highest score in 2017. Jay lives a well-rounded, world-renowned area for camp drafting, and he breeds and trains his own horses at home at Ballabadar in New South Wales. He also trains very successfully, competes on horses' clients, and he's been riding for most of his life, competing in a range of disciplines throughout his career.
A score now for Cody Law with Yarrawar Guns N' Roses was 22 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 87.5 points. 87.5 points for Yarrawar Guns N' Roses and Cody. So Jay Sharnock now from Bulladeel with Urana Copper Acres, and they step out into the stadium. They're on the dance floor. Round 2 of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft. And around the first peg, here we go with Copper Acres and a magnificent Hereford Heifer again. And they round the first peg. They got 2 out of 4 for the course. They do the flying changeover. And a Copper Acres around the second peg. This is looking pretty good here. Can we get 3 out of 3? Can we see something really special in round 1? Oh, they do the changeover now. Now you're on a Copper Acres and Jay Sharnock. Look at this camp drafting right up on the beach shoulder. It goes around. Can he do it? And there goes the judges' whips. And we welcome our judges there, Keith Horrigan and Skip McCarthy.
So close yet so far. Of course, Skip McCarthy from Kempsey and Keith Horrigan from Walker, both here in New South Wales. We'll wait for the score as we welcome in last year's winner, Hugh Miles. Last year he was riding Pilvale Wishes. This year he's riding Honey, There and Aiken. And he runs Pilvale Stud in Tamworth in New South Wales. And he's been competing at the Sydney Royal Easter Show for many, many years. In 2016, he was first competed here in 2016, I should say. And in 2017, he was the AB CRA most successful rider. He's 2-time Cloncurry Stockman Challenge winner. As we now get the score for Uruna Cooper Acres and Jay Sharnock.
So score for Jay Sharnock was 23 for cutout, 57 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 83 points. 83 points there for Urana Copper Acres and Jay Sharnock. Hugh Miles now with Honey There Aiken around the first peg, and the Hereford Heifer. And just a little bit greasy there on the dance floor, but Honey There just Aiken, so just around the second peg now. They've got 2 out of 4 for the course. Around the second peg they come. Hugh Miles, the horse from Wooloman via Tamworth, and the beast wants to go back home, heading up back towards Elliston, back over into the lovely yard they got over there, where they certainly get very well looked after. But Hugh Miles says, no, we'll get it back around here. Gets 3 out of 4 for the course now. Can he beat the time? Can he do it? They head over towards the gate looking for 4 out of 4, 3 out of 4, and well, it looks pretty good.
I think he took the Brisbane via Adelaide tourist drive around the main arena here in the Tyrrell's Wines camp drafting with the Elliston steer, soaking up every second that he could, certainly making Hugh Miles work as hard as he possibly could. While we wait for the score, we welcome the next of our competitors into the camp. This is Joseph Burgess with Avalon Illusion. He's currently sitting in equal second and third in the AB CRA Open Horse and fourth in the most successful rider in 2019. And the Araluen Illusion is a 14-2 hand Australian stock horse from Bulladeel here in New South Wales. He needs a score greater than 88 to win.
Here we go now with Joe Burgess, and we'll come back for the score there of Hugh Miles in a moment. So Joe Burgess now with Avalon Illusion, and I've got a very fast one. He heads over towards the Vincent Fairfax stand. Give him a round of applause. Things don't always go to plan, boys and girls, mums and dads. That was Hugh Miles with Honey There Aiken.
Well, while we wait for the score, we now welcome into the arena Rebecca Roberts into the camp. And we'll get a time to catch our breath because we've got to get this beast out of the arena. The boys from Elliston taking them back. And this is Duckergearus, the horse. Rebecca Roberts, the rider from Harper Hill in New South Wales. She's currently the AB CRA Ladies Camp Draft leader in 2018.
So a score now for Hugh Miles and Honey There Aiken was 23.5 for cutout, 54 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 81.5 points. 81.5 points for Hugh Miles and Honey There Aiken, and a score for Joe Burgess with Avalon Illusion was 18 points for cutout, 18 points. So as Pete and Dave Kelly and Murray Wilkinson, they put another beast away back into the bedroom. And we go with Rebecca Roberts. Her first year here. The lady from Lochinvar, Hunter Valley, New South Wales. So her first year here, we welcome Rebecca Roberts with Duck Greek Georges and round the first peg. And the lovely Hereford Heifer. Around the first peg, they get 2 out of 4 for the course. They do the changeover. Around the second peg. And there goes the judge's stock whip. So unfortunate there for Rebecca Roberts and Duck Gorgeous.
Well, while we wait for the score to come in, Terry Hannigan will be the next of our competitors into the camp. He rides Durkin's Onyx from Condamble in northwestern New South Wales from the Hollywood Stud. And he's only been drafting for 6 years, but he's ridden all of his life. He's competed at the AB CRA National Finals in 3 out of the last 4 years. Considering he only took up drafting 6 years ago, that's an amazing effort.
So a score now for Rebecca Roberts with Duckery Gorgeous. It was 22 points. 22 points for cutout for Rebecca Roberts. So we welcome Terry Hannigan, the grazier from Canamble, with Durkin's Onyx. So he's about to make his selection once we get rid of the heifer. She says, I know where home is, and we'll go over and have some tea and a nice drink out the back. And once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company, to the Packer family, to Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell, the management up there, and the team, and Murray Wilkinson with the dogs, etc. A great relationship between the RAS and the Elliston Pastoral Company. So, Terry Hannigan. There'd be no better way than celebrate round one with a nice bottle of Tyrrell's tonight. He says, which one here should I take? One of these magnificent Hereford heifers. He makes his selection. Comes right up the face of the camp, Terry Hannigan. Gates 1, gets 2. Just got a friend with him at the moment. Just got to get one on its own. So he calls for the gate. Outside now into this stadium, onto the dance floor, and this is Terry Hannigan, Durkin's Onyx, around the first peg, and he liked to head over towards the Sinclair stand and around, and the heifer looks back and says, where are you now? I'll wait for you for a little bit. Around the first peg. Durkin's Onyx and Terry Hannigan, they do the changeover. He's going to try and tighten things up a bit. He says, we know we went a little bit wide back there, and he's going to do just that. As Durkin Onyx says, leave the footwork to me. You just press the right buttons. Camp drafting right up on the beast's shoulder. He turns around. Can he get back in time? Can he get it around? Oh, magnificent. Give him a round of applause there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Oh, nice bit of horsework. Terry Hannigan.
Our fourth competitor to complete the course. Great horsemanship holding that beast out on the gate. I'm sure the judges will appreciate that while we wait for them to put a score together. We move on to number 8 in the draw, Brendan Fitzgerald with More Rocks from Roma in Queensland. And he has made the long trip down. He had a win in the novice draft at the Grandfather Clock Chinchilla. He was first in the novice draft at Tambo and second at the Canning Downs Open Draft in 2010. And Brendan Fitzgerald, More Rocks, next competitor.
So we have a score now for Terry Hannigan with Durkin's Onyx was 17 for cutout, 59 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 80 points. 80 points there for Durkin's Onyx and Terry Hannigan. So our next competitor, all the way from Roma in Queensland, Brendan Fitzgerald. Second year down here at the World Championship Camp Draft. The grazier from the wonderful town of Queensland, Roma. He's about to make his selection. And he makes his selection. He works his way towards the face of the camp to try and get as many points as he can out of a possible score of 26. Comes up the face of the camp now. Does 3, does the 4, does 5. He calls for the gate. He's about to step out into the arena. Here he comes. This is Brendan Fitzgerald from Roma in Queensland, and the heifer want to go straight across to the members stand. But give him a round of applause, boys and girls, mums and dads. That does happen in all sorts of sports. Sometimes things just don't go to plan. So a cutout score there only.
Well, it can be a tough sport, the sport of camp drafting. While we wait for the score to come in, we welcome Tyler, Berkley and Quinton into the arena, sitting number 3 on the national list for most successful rider currently in 2019. The winner of the AB CRA Juvenile Rider of the Year in 2016, and in 2017 he was the all-round Horse of the Year in the AB CRA. Quinton and Tyler Berkley next into the camp.
Score now for Brendan Fitzgerald with More Rocks was a score of 21.5 points. 21.5 for More Rocks and Brendan Fitzgerald. So Tyler Berkley, the student from Inverell, and got the titles to go with him as well, the junior and juvenile titles. So here he is, one of our youngest competitors ever to compete here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show in the World Championship Camp Draft. Tyler Berkley. And he's very quick and quitting around the first peg, and he's got a lovely running pole Hereford heifer. And around, look here, right around the first peg, he's got a fast one. Around, and look here, right around, Quentin says, well, getting a little bit out of bounds, so there goes the whips. So give him a nice round of applause there, very first time, and a very young competitor, 16 years of age. Tyler Berkley from Inverell, New South Wales.
While we wait for the cutout scores to come in, we now welcome out Barn Lodge Omega Destiny into the arena. Number 10 on our draw, and this is Josh Barnett. And Josh won the Charlie Marr Memorial Young Guns at the Landmark Classic earlier this year. And he has romped to victory in the family stallion on Barlog Omega Destiny, smashing out an 89 in the final. And he is the leading most successful rider currently in the AB CRA. Josh Barnett next into the camp.
So a score now for Tyler Berkley with Quentin was a score of 20.5 for cutout. 20.5 for cutout for Quentin, ridden by Tyler Berkley. So Josh Barnett, first year down here with the competing in the camp draft. He's also one of our great rodeo competitors as well. We'll see him later on in the Royal Easter Show rodeo in the saddle bronc ride. He's an all-rounder. But Josh Barnett, a Barn Lodge Omega Destiny from Singleton in the Hunter Valley. He makes his selection, comes up towards the face of the camp, going for the big point straight up. Round 1 of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft. Josh Barnett and Barn Lodge Omega Destiny, and they got a very fast one, and she says, I want to go straight to the members stand. That's the place to be as he tries to wheel this pole Hereford heifer around. And Josh Barnett and Omega Destiny around the first peg. Oh, he got a lovely running heifer. He does a changeover. He gets 2 out of 4 for the first peg. And right, camp drafting right up on the beast shoulder. Josh Barnett now comes around. He just sits back a little bit, goes up, back up again. Now anticipation around the second peg. He just scrapes the leaves off it. Can he do it, boys and girls? Has he got time? Tell mum and dad to get ready. Can they do it? I think they can. I think he can. Oh.
So close, Jim, yet so far. We'll wait for the score. He didn't quite get the gate, but we'll see what the judges think as we welcome into the camp now, the Tyrrell's Wine camp. This is Bruce Courtland from Yarras in New South Wales, and he has been competing at the Reisman Stockhorse Nationals at ALEC and at the AB CRA Finals. He was first in the Open and first in the all-round camp draft. To take the lead, he needs to take out our first competitor. He needs a score greater than 88 with white young Cody Law, currently in second on an 87.5 as we wait for the score for Josh Barnett.
So a score now for Josh Barnett and Barn Lodge Omega Destiny was 20.5 for cutout, 56.5 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 80 points. 80 points there for Barn Lodge Omega Destiny, ridden by Josh Barnett.
Equal 5th place. That puts him into equal 5th place.
So Bruce Coulthard now from Long Flat, up near Warhope on the coast. So Bruce Coulthard. And Fig comes right up the face of the camp and he does a couple of real good turns right up the face of the camp and he drops back a panel or two. Now comes back up the face of the camp. He steps out into the stadium and just says the Hereford Heifer says, where are you now? And look at this for a tight first peg. Bruce Coulthard and Fig, they come around the first peg. This could be very interesting. A very tight first peg here now for Bruce Coulthard. They get 2 out of 4 for the course. They come around the second peg and look at Fig moves right up, says leave the footwork to me. You press the right buttons. Oh, boys and girls, mums and dads, you better get ready. We're going to see something special. I think we can. Camp drafting. It's champagne camp drafting. And we're drinking Tyrrells tonight.
Has he done enough to take the lead? The score to beat is 88. While we wait for that, we welcome now a competitor who's been competing here for a number of years, and this is Sue Duggan and Quindella Chief, the 19-year-old gelding Bay by Acres Destiny, known for his beautiful bright blue eyes whenever Chief goes in. And Chief has been an accomplished all-round horse for the entire Duggan family. Number 12 in the draw in the camp now, Quindella Chief.
So we have a score now for Bruce Coulthard and Fig, a score of 21.5 for cutout, 63.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89 points. 89 points for Fig, ridden by Bruce Coulthard.
New leader in the competition, that puts him into first place.
So we welcome Sue Duggan from Courtland, New South Wales. And she had a wow of a time here last year in 2018. And Sue Duggan steps up the face of the camp, just drops back a little tiny bit, but goes back a bit further. The pole Hereford ever says, I want to hop back down here with my cousins. So Sue Duggan with Quindella Chief. Number 12, round 1 of the Tyrrells World Championship Camp Draft. Well, it's going to be very unfortunate for Sue Duggan and Quindella Chief. No score in round 1, but give her a lovely round of applause. Make her feel welcome, boys and girls, mums and dads.
Well, that is disappointing for Sue, and I know she'll be coming back fighting hard tomorrow. As we now welcome out a horse trainer and grazier from Coolah in New South Wales. In recent times, I've got to know him. It's Troy Palmer, and he is riding at Binia La Arena. He's been instrumental in helping me with what we do down at Willinga Park. He's competed in drafts since he was 8 years old. He's 17-time AB, CRA, horse and rider titles. He won the 2017 Warwick Gold Cup. And it is the next of our competitors. I looked up for a moment there, Jimmy, and got scared. I saw a beast coming out, but that's just removing Sue's beast. And now we will have, of course, Troy Palmer. And Jimmy, he needs no introduction to this arena. Can he get a score greater than 89 to take Bruce Coulthard out, or an 88 with White Young currently in second place?
Tim, there's no doubt about that Troy Palmer will be riding for 90, as he always does. A very, very top-notch competitor, and got a great line of horses. So they put the other one away. So many thanks there to Dave and Pete Kelly, as Troy's here just studying these Hereford heifers. And he's just running his eye over them. He's about to make his selection. So they're just going to remove another one here, Tim.
Another one to come out.
Yes, the judges just want one heifer to be removed.
So, of course, Troy Palmer that has had that amazing line of horses there, the Binia Impressive Destiny, and he's, as a sire, would have to be one of our best in the camp drafting industry.
There's no doubt about that, Tim, and Troy's been competing down here in the World Championship Camp Draft for 20 plus years, and had 2 wins, one on Binia Impressive Destiny and the other one on that very, very good mare they had called Glory. So he's won the World Championship Camp Draft 2 times.
You want to know a little side fact on Glory? She, her dam was a thoroughbred. So we always talk about the stock horse and the quarter horse. Well, Glory goes back to a thoroughbred line. So it's always interesting to know some bits of information of how these horses come together.
There's no doubt about you, Tim. You do your homework.
I've just been learning from you, Jimmy.
So we're just about ready to go. Pete and Dave Kelly got it all under control. The bedroom door is open.
Of course, Jimmy, we thank Tyrrell's Wines, as I know you and I will be heading up to the members a little bit later on to enjoy a Tyrrell's Wine for their generous sponsorship. They've been with us for a number of years here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show as our major sponsor of the beautiful Campdraft that we see. What a great spectacle we get to bring to the people of Sydney.
There's no doubt about that. Australia's very own horse sport, camp drafting. So here we go. Troy Palmer makes his selection on Benny Larena and comes right up the face of the camp. He's gone for the big points here in round one of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft. And opens the gate and he steps out here now into the stadium and he's going to tighten things right up around the first peg here now. Around the first peg they come in. Benny Larena now comes around. Larena says, just leave the footwork to me. One just steps down a little bit, comes around now. Gets 2 out of 4 for the course now. Larena, Troy Palmer, they just steadied back a little bit. He says, I'll just sit back a little bit and let this heifer run on by. Around the second peg they come, looking to get 3 out of 4 for the course. Around the second peg. Now, can they do it? Have they got time? Camp drafting right up on the beach shoulder. He turns it around. Can he? Can they do it? Can they do it? But he's just going to sneak away. But give him a round of applause there. Troy Palmer and Benia Larena, round one of the World Championship Camp Draft.
He was right up on that heifer's shoulder. He was shoulder to shoulder. Couldn't quite get it to the gate, but as they say, that's camp drafting. While we wait for the score, Andrew Chapman, Digby into the arena. Chappie, as he's known, best known as the husband of the lovely Trudy. They come from Nundle in New South Wales on the New England, and he's been campaigning for 10 years. He's a Cuddlestad manager, and Digby, the same horse that he competed here in 2018. Can he take the win on the 17-year-old gelding, sired by Acres Destiny?
Troy Palmer with Benia Larena, 17 for cutout, 56 for horsework, 76 points, 76 points.
And 2000 and major titles, of course, for Digby. He's won many Open Championships. He was 4th at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, and he plans to keep going in the sport of camp drafting for as long as he can.
So Andrew Chapman now, the property manager from Nundle with Digby, and what a combination here. Andrew Chapman and the grand old Australian stock horse gelding. Here's Digby, and he knows all about the stadium down here on the dance floor. He's had a few visits down here, and a great combination, Andrew Chapman and Digby. And he's got a nice free throw running Hereford heifer around the first peg. And Digby, now he says, yes, oh, the beautiful dance floor, he says. And look here, the pace is on. He comes around the second peg. Digby, Andrew Chapman, he says, I'll put you up in the box seat around the second peg. Oh, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, can they do it? Can they do it? It's going to be a fast one. Digby lines up. He says, let's go now, Andy Roo. And he look here. And another magnificent round here in round number 1 of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft. And there'll be plenty of excitement over there with Trudy, Charlie and Georgie. So they've got their own cheer squad.
Oh, goosebumps around the grounds as we're seeing, as Jimmy would say, champagne drafting. Our final competitor into the camp will be Adam Sadler, and he's riding Redler's Raven Acres. And from Boonan, just outside of Scone in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales, from Bunnan, he's the AQHA Nationals second in the Open, and Maules Creek Draft he won, and the Caning Downs and first at Warwick in the Open. And he has been competing at the Sydney show last year and second in the Open in the runner-up, riding Tajaro Spin in 2018.
So a score now for Andrew Chapman and Digby, 22 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 88 points. 88 points for Digby and Andrew Chapman.
Equal second place into equal second place.
So Adam Sadler, our next competitor. And we've got a couple of heifers that don't want to leave this magnificent arena.
I don't blame them. Do you, Jim? Why would you
No.
want to leave? It's the first night. They want to stay for all the entertainment that's still to come.
That's right, Tim, and they're not going to miss out on anything if they're going to get themselves all set up ready for the great entertainment here on this lovely Friday evening.
Do you know, tonight, Jimmy, we're celebrating 100 years of the Angus breed. And I know these are our Hereford cattle, but we have the Angus cattle coming out in a very special parade a little bit later on this evening, which will be a lovely treat for everyone here this evening.
Well, and the two Hereford heifers says, well, we want to be a part of that as well tonight.
I think they're the wrong colour. Do we need to tell them that?
Well, I'll leave that for you to do that later on. Okay, so well done there, our stewards. So we go with our final competitor, Adam Sadler from Bunnan in the Hunter Valley with Reldas Raven Acres. He's about to make his selection, our final competitor in round 1 of the World Championship Camp Draft. And he's been in fine form. Adam Sadler, right up the face of the camp. He calls for the gate. Adam Sadler. Oh, and the heifer says, I'm going to take a shortcut, and just slips around the bottom side of the first peg. But give him a round of applause there, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Sadler, our final competitor. There's 5 more rounds to go, so still a long open competition.
It's a long road to the final, but Jim, what a night tonight. Bruce, Courtland and Fig on an 89, just 11 points shy of the perfect score. And what a way to kick us off. 288s for equal second would be Andrew Chapman and Digby and White Young and Cedarvale Twist. And then in 4th place, I have it as Cody Law with Yarrawa Guns N' Roses. And our 5th place competitor, and I'll work that out for you in a moment, was Hugh Miles and Honey. They're an Aiken on an 81.5. Hey, mate, great call. What a great event.
Another great round of camp drafting, Tim. A beautiful evening for the camp drafting to kick off here in the Spotless Stadium. And once again, many thanks to the Elliston Pastoral Company, to the Packer family, to Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell, their managers up there, and the team, and Murray Wilkinson for looking after the cattle and everything, and with the dogs. It's just a great effort because, as we know, the drought, and in that part of the Hunter Valley, Elliston have been in drought for 2.5 years. And to get cattle like that in the condition, and it's just magnificent, makes the sport of camp drafting a real spectacle.
It most certainly does, Jim, and we couldn't do it without their support. And to all of our farmers out there, we've been talking about it all day long. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are here, if you want to support our regional communities that have been doing it so tough for many years, the best thing, the absolute best thing you can do, take a weekend, jump in the car, get on the train, hop in a plane, however you need, get out into rural New South Wales, go and shop in the local shops, go and stay in the local accommodation and meet the characters of this great country and this great state, and that is the absolute best way you can show your support, and we'd love to see you out in rural New South Wales. I know Jimmy will welcome you any day at Scone.
A great part of our great Australian country, Scone in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales. So we're very lucky where we live and to have these generous people under these very trying conditions. But won't be too long and we'll catch up with the winner, Bruce Coulthard. His first year here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, and what a way to kick night or number 1 off, Tim.
What a way indeed. 89 the score. An amazing effort from our first year. Do we call it first day luck, or maybe he's just been waiting for his time to shine?
Well, Tim, I'm just going to catch up with Bruce Coulthard now. Well, and he's got a smile from ear to ear. Bruce, congratulations. Your first year down here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Must be a great honour to get the invite to come down and compete at the Royal Easter Show, Bruce.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Yeah, very good to come here. I've been looking forward to this for about 50 years. And, yeah, I'm happy with my horse, and the cattle are good, and thanks for everybody coming to watch the camp draft. Great Australian sport.
Bruce, as you know, you are a property manager, etc. The very trying times at the moment, but for the Elliston Pastoral Company to come up with a line of cattle in that conditions, been in drought for 2.5 years, a great relationship with the RAS and Elliston Pastoral Company makes camp drafting.
Yeah, that's good. That's right. It's very good to have cattle in a tough season. It's been tough in the Hunter for 2.5 years I know of, and I think it's pretty tough all over the eastern seaboard.
Bruce, does it to come and camp draft here in the main arena at the Sydney Royal Easter Show? Does it give you goosebumps like when you first ride out, like for your first year here camp drafting? How does it really feel?
Yeah, that's right. It's an honour to be here. Never been here before. Not the Sydney Show, not ever. I've ridden at Melbourne, and it's very much the same once you get out here and pick a beast.
So you just take it in your stride and say, well, it's another camp draft, it's another day, and luck, it plays a big part on too, Bruce?
Well, that's right, yeah. Luck does play a big part where you draw and how the cattle fall, and after that, it's like eating porridge.
Well, you talk about eating porridge early in the morning, but tonight on round number 1, you'll be doing a little bit of celebrating tonight, probably with our great sponsor in Tyrrell's.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't mind a drop of red. We'll do some celebrating.
Okay, thank you very much, Bruce, and all the very best for the remaining 5 rounds.
Thank you, Jim, and thanks for coming.
No worries at all. Thank you, Bruce Coltard. Just here with the second place getter, White Young, another first timer too. So the first time is Tim are certainly cleaned up here. So White Young, welcome to the Sydney Royal Easter Show. What's it feel like?
Yeah, thanks, Jim. It's a real honour to be down here drafting in front of everyone. Yeah.
So it feels pretty special. Do you get the goosebumps when you first rode out here tonight?
Yeah, having been here for 6 years when I showed them the stock horses, but yeah, you get that every time you ride in.
Okay, White, and all the very best for the remaining 5 rounds.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks.
What? Here with Chappy, Andrew Chapman. Got his own cheer squad here too, Tim Deverman. Digby. Great combination here, and he hasn't let you down on round 1, Chappy.
No, he's a pretty special horse, Jim. He's always a for me, and hopefully we can just keep getting a few points every night.
No doubt with Trudy and Trudy and Charlie and Georgie there. They'll be helping you, and they'll be riding the course with you every night.
Yeah. Hopefully they do the stables a bit too.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, I think I've seen Trudy coming late this afternoon with a bottle of red, so no doubt that you'll be having a little Tyrrells later on.
Yeah, she likes the Tyrrells, and I'd like to thank R.M. Williams for their sponsorship as well. It's always great to come here and ride, and the R.M. Williams sponsorship is
Okay, thanks, Chappy, and all the best for the remaining 5 rounds.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Well, thank you very much to Jim. The official presentation taking place at the moment. Congratulations to Bruce Coulthard and Fegan, 89 to take the win. Equal second place going to Cedar Vale, Twist and White Young, along with Andrew Chapman and Digby, both on an 88. Fourth place going to Cody Law with Yarrawa Guns N' Roses on an 87.5. And in 5th place, last year's winner. He's certainly in the hunt over the 6 rounds for the overall champion, Hugh Miles, 81.5. As they ride off, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. The winner tonight, Bruce Coulthard and Fig.